Today as my guest I have Karlos Knott from Bayou Teche Brewing in Arnaudville. Karlos has a very wonderful story about his family and how he got started, and I asked him to tell you that story because it's really, truly what we're all about as Cajuns and the French and family. So without further ado, let me get Karlos up here, and he does have some beer. Yes.
Well, thank you all for the great hospitality. I don't know how y'all knew that meatball stew was my favorite meal of all time. I really appreciate it. And pay you guys back if you ever want to have your meeting at the brewery, just let us know. We have a lot more beer there than I brought here today. Well, I was in the Army in the 80s, and in those days, all soldiers either went to Korea or to Germany, so I got the good luck to go to Germany for 6 years straight. This is when the wall was still up. And fell in love with beer. Right away, my first weekend, I went to a bar and I said, I want to get a German beer. And the lady says, well, do you want a small one or a big one? I said, well, bring me a big one. Of course, that's like a half gallon in Germany. And I drank it. It was like drinking a loaf of bread. It was delicious. It was out of this world good. And my wife and I, the next 6 years, we traveled all throughout Europe. And she would drag me to like the cathedrals and the museums, and I dragged her to the breweries. And we just fell in love with beer, and then the Army said, hey, you're going back to the States, and I started panicking. So I started asking everybody I could over there how to make European beer. And it's different in here. The beers, you drive 50 miles, and you can't even get the same beers. So everything's local. Every brewery services one city, and that's it. There's no big brands like Budweiser over there. And just fell in love with that because every town had a beer that went with the local food. So when you went and visited someplace on the coast that ate a lot of seafood, it was very different than if you visited someplace where they ate a lot more pork, or in France's case, really cream-based and cheesy food. Then the beers and the wines went with local foods, and we came back to the States, we had an epiphany. We got the best food in the world in South Louisiana, and there's no real beer designed or no real beverage designed to go with our food. So for the next 10 years, my brothers and I just homebrewed every Sunday. We're a traditional Cajun family. We don't work Sundays. And we'd all get together and do crawfish boils or cook some kind of brisket or something. And every Sunday after we had the meal and we were with our folks and our grandparents, we just started making homebrew beer, and 2 weeks later we'd be able to drink it. And we started tweaking those recipes over the 10 years, different beers. They're European-based, but tweak them so they would go with Cajun and Creole food. Because our food's a little spicier. We have a lot more pork fat and roux than a lot of those. And it's in our DNA, I think. If you ran a DNA test, you'd find roux in our blood. And so after about 10 years, we got drunk one Sunday, my brothers and I, and we said, hey, let's open a brewery. We didn't know anything. We just started building a brewery, and we opened it, and we could make 6 kegs a week. This was almost 6 years ago. We could make 6 kegs a week, and we thought that was something. And about 2-3 months later, we had orders throughout Louisiana. So we had to build a bigger brewery. So the first of many expansions. And we continue to do only things that we think reflect on our culture and our language favorably. We don't do any of that, insulting Cajun kind of stuff. It's all we honor our ancestors and the troubles that they had to get here, and the elegant lifestyle they left for all of us. Great food and music, and it's like no place in the country. We name all of our beers in Cajun French on the bottoms of all of our 6-packs. We give those to local charities that either preserve the music or the language. It's like free advertising for them. Music, language, the environment, or the music of the area. And every time those guys have a fundraiser, we give them beer. And so we've been doing that for 6 years. We've won 5 silver medals at the World Beer Championship along the way. Still our first beer, the Beer Pile. Let me show it to you. This one here. It's the one beer everybody tells me, I don't like that beer, but we sell a lot of it. We have 19 beers we do every year, and this is 60% of the sales is this one beer.
That is my favorite beer.
It's a Belgian-style pale ale. It's all Belgian ingredients, Belgian grains and Belgian hops and Belgian yeast. Good Louisiana water in there. But it's really kind of our all-purpose beer. It goes with all Cajun foods and all Cajun activities. Great for your two-stepping, and it lubricates your French-talking muscles.
What's the normal alcohol for beer normally?
Well, in America, most of your Budweisers are 4.5. Those kind of beers are 4.5. In Europe, they laugh at that. Most European beers start about 6. And the other thing is, in Europe, they only use barley and rice, barley and wheat. They're not allowed to use wheat, rice and corn like we do in the States, or like the big breweries do in the States. So we follow the European model. We only use barley and wheat. Another beer we do every year, it's a special beer. It's Asian bourbon barrels. We get the barrels from Jack Daniels. This is made with Mellow Joy coffee, chocolate, and chili peppers from Primo's Peppers. Asian bourbon barrel. It tastes like breakfast in a bottle. It's pretty boozy, about 8%. Every Saturday, we have live Cajun music, 2 bands every Saturday. We start at 11, we go all the way till about 6 or 7 at night. We have food. It's usually T-Gems, about 2 or 3 weekends a month. And he's out of Cottonport. And it's like going back in time in like some kind of meat time machine. It's like all these old things I hadn't seen since I was a kid. He has the blood boudin. You remember the toile patties? The little patties, they wrap them in some kind of fat that looks like lace. It's like pork patties. They're so good they can't be good for you. Yeah. But my grandparents would make that. We'd have boucheries when we were growing up, and they would make little pork patties and season, and they'd wrap it with that fat. And when you cook it, the fat kind of melts away and goes into the pork. It's delicious. But he comes with all these old meats, like from the old days, and he cooks them, and people go crazy. You know, people had never eaten blood boudin before, you know, because it's been so long since you could get it easily. And it's just a great time every Saturday. You guys can come out anytime. There's no cover charge. Totally, the only thing you got to pay for is the beer you drink.
What time?
It starts at 11 is our first band, and the second band starts at 3. Usually the 3 o'clock band's a little bigger band. We have like some weeks it's Zydeco, some weeks it's Cajun, but it's always some kind of Louisiana music. We have 6 beers that we do all year long. And then we have another 6 beers that we do seasonally. So we have a crawfish season beer. It's a beer designed just to go with boiled crawfish. So during the it's a great beer. It's really nice. It's made with rye. It's really spicy from the rye. So really, in beer, you look for flavors that are complementary. For wine, it's the opposite. You're looking for contrast. But beer, it's cooked, kind of like food. So you look for that same flavor. So this is a spicy beer from the rye and a special Belgian yeast that makes spice flavors. And the government makes us put a warning label, contains no crawfish or crawfish seasoning on the beer. But it's a great beer. But we do that. We do a summer beer. We have one just for Mardi Gras. It's called Courtyard and Mardi Gras. So we have 6 seasonals and then another 6 or 7 one-offs, like these big bottles that we just do. And when they're ready, we bottle them. And they go to usually like those specialty wine stores or specialty restaurants. Like Winn-Dixie would never get those. Because they're always looking at that one beer they can sell a lot of. But these special things we sell out every year. We do about 45 whiskey barrels worth, and that's gone like in 2 or 3 days.